this is Christine Dugan with Las Vegas Home Dream Team, and today I'm going to go over some buyer tips and more or less our team buyer consultation so you can get a better idea of what to expect during the buying process. First and foremost, I want to congratulate you on choosing to buy a home. Most people don't realize this, but homeowners actually have 45 times the wealth than a renter does. So not only are you looking to buy a home that you and your family can live in, but also financially you're making a really sound choice because overall the equity you're going to gain from the recent stats, you're going to be 45 times more wealthy than those who rent houses. So congratulations. What I've done is I've put together a presentation for you to kind of go over the expectations of what to have when you're buying a home. This is me and my team. This is Las Vegas Home Dream Team, and this is all of us together. And here's kind of the role that each of us play. And I'll go over a little bit just briefly of what we do and how we help you. So overall, something you should know about us is that we really believe in providing a superior service. We're here to be teachers and a guide. We're really bad salespeople. We're really good teachers though. We believe in teamwork and definitely the golden rule of treating others how we would want to be treated if we were buying a home. And we want to make sure we surpass any expectations you may have. So we're here to really put your needs and desires above our own, and we're going to help you any way possible to make sure you achieve your real estate dreams. So first I'm going to introduce Carrie Leday. She is our home buyer manager. Carrie has an extensive background in real estate, and she's really very passionate about helping people find the perfect home for them and their family. So she usually deals with our buyers directly, but we all work together as a team. Kind of like if you had a basketball team, not everybody would be a point guard, not everybody would be a three-point shooter. Everybody kind of has their own specialty, and we all still work together as a team. Next up is Danielle Dugan, and she's my sister. Yes, we share the same last name. So Danielle has had her license for a couple years now, and she works with buyers specifically. She also has some staging experience as well. So we use her mainly to help show you homes if Carrie is not available to take a look at properties with you. Next is Stephanie Tibbs, and she manages most of our home listings. So more or less, she deals with the sellers. And then there's me. I run a lot of the back end of the business, and I've done it all in my career. But at this point, I work a lot with buyers of kind of getting the streamlined process of making sure they understand their finances, setting them up with technology like this, that you understand what you're getting ready to get into when you're buying a home, and educating you through that process. And then from there, again, Carrie and I work together, and Danielle and I work together to make sure that you see the homes you like, and Carrie, Danielle, and I help construct the offer for you, and then help manage the process of once you have an offer accepted to the point that you get your keys, which is also called the escrow process, and we'll get a little bit more into that later. Next on our Las Vegas Home Dream Team is our mortgage strategist, Michael Rodriguez. He is amazing at what he does. He actually has a certification that puts him at probably the top 1% of all loan professionals in the United States. Michael's goal is not only to help you structure a loan that fits your lifestyle so you're not cash poor when you move into your home, but also to help you manage your mortgage from a wealth perspective. And he also has a lot of experience with investments too. So he's really a good go-to guy for a lot of finance questions. But mainly throughout this process, I suggest all home buyers, if they're already qualified, get cross-qualified with Michael. The biggest thing with Michael that I like over any other loan person that I've worked with throughout my career is that he has access to something called an underwriter. When you apply for a loan, and whether you're going to Wells Fargo or Bank of America, and you're dealing with a human being, you see the human being's face. So for instance, you'll see Michael's face. Well, That's not who makes the choice on your loan. Who makes the choice on your loan is called an underwriter. And sometimes I call them undertakers because they can kill a deal as fast as they can bless the deal. And pretty much the underwriter's job is to look at your full financial picture, and they go ahead and they say yes or no to your loan. What most consumers don't understand is that underwriters are usually located in different states, different buildings. The person you see most likely doesn't even know their underwriter. Well, why should that matter to you? The biggest reason is that if you have a little bit different of a financial situation, because most people do, if the underwriter and the loan person that you're dealing with don't have a relationship, sometimes the underwriter will make harsh choices without knowing the full picture. So what's really interesting about Michael is that his underwriter is right across the hallway from him, and he has a relationship with them. So he can walk over there and explain the situation, and usually they can work anything out. He looks at loans. If he says everything looks good, he works with the underwriter, and then they give their blessing. Very minimal issues come up with Michael throughout the loan process, and that's what I really love working with him. I've had experiences where people, they love Wells Fargo. They're going to get their loan through Wells Fargo. Well, guess what? Wells Fargo denies your loan. And then what? You have earnest money at risk. Not to mention your heart is on the line because you've written an offer on a home that you absolutely love. And guess what? You get told you can't get the money to buy that home. In certain circumstances, Michael's also been able to come in and kind of help save those deals too, and help figure out the finances and explain it correctly to the underwriter and then push it through to get the approval. So again, if you haven't already spoke with Michael and I haven't already suggested it, definitely make sure that you speak with him. He's great at what he does, and overall it's just going to help you throughout your home buying process. So a little bit about our team. Stephanie and I are certified residential specialists. Really, we have what's considered a PhD of real estate. I have something called an EARNEST certification, which I use the latest technology, which you can tell by watching this video when it comes to dealing with clients. And Stephanie and I have also gotten top 40 realtors under 40 years old in Las Vegas. So really all that means to you is that, we work really hard to be really good at what we do, and obviously it's paid off because we've gotten a lot of great designations and awards that have given us the external confirmation that what we're doing is, servicing our clients in a higher way than most other realtors do. Here's some testimonials from past clients. Michael Rodriguez is actually the first one on here. I helped him and his family buy a home, and he deals with realtors every single day. So the fact that I was able to help him and he gave me such a high recommendation, really means a lot. I've helped a lot of military families, and also just first-time home buyers that have had dreams of buying a home, and we've been able to help them do that. So let's get into why you're really watching this video. This is our buyer assistance program. So we're going to go over the services and the strategies that I've put in place to help you achieve your goals. So I'll go over and touch a little bit on each area here. When we talk in person, we'll go a little bit more in depth on each one of these questions and these topics. But mainly we're going to go over what the home buying process looks like and what the real estate market looks like right now. So something you should know about Las Vegas Home Dream Team is that our real mission is to give you such an amazing experience that you are happily going to refer us to your friends, family members, coworkers, and neighbors if they need help with real estate. So how we do that is we definitely make sure that you have personal touches throughout your transaction, and we make sure that everything is a win-win deal for you. Whether we're negotiating a contract for you, or we're helping you figure out your finances, or helping you really kind of sort through what you're looking for in your next home, we want to make sure it's in alignment with what you want and it feels good to you. Las Vegas is funny. They always have these big cheesy billboards put up with all these real estate professionals, or, lately it seems like a lot of attorneys, but pretty much that's a different type of advertising than what we at Las Vegas Home Dream Team believe in. We would rather invest in our clients and our relationships with the people that we know, and provide an outstanding service so then you feel comfortable introducing us to your friends and family members. And that's really really why you'll never see us on a billboard. And that's what we strive for throughout this process of helping you find your perfect home. So as far as your real estate experience, we'll go over this individually when I speak with you. And we'll go over also what's important to you about your next home. One thing I like to point out to people is that there is never a perfect home. Usually people have some must-haves, and we go over those, and you have certain areas or school districts, open floor plans. The number one rule of real estate is location, location, location. You'll get an instant feel for a home when you pull up to the side of the property, and you'll get a feel for the neighborhood, if it's going to work or not. You'll also walk into a home and you'll get a feel for the floor plan. Most floor plans can't be adjusted that much. In most neighborhoods, you can't move. So those are two of the big things that I ask people to focus on. Paint color, carpet, flooring, all those things, they can all be fixed depending on budgets that we have when you're buying your next home. But again, those are kind of things that I ask people to take into consideration of what's going to work for you, what are some must-haves, and then also, what are things that maybe are negotiables for you. And we go over that when we talk in person. And finances, one thing people don't realize when they're buying a house and they're mortgaging it over 30 years fixed at, this slide shows 5, 6, and 7% interest rates. Right now we're somewhere in the 4s. So what people don't realize is that for every $1,000 that you're negotiating with a mortgage, it's actually about $5 a month. So for instance, if we're at a $200,000 sales price and maybe a seller wants $205,000, sometimes in buyer's mind, they get really frustrated with that idea of like, hey, guess what? That's $5,000. That's a lot of money. When we really break it down, it's about $25 a month, anywhere from $25 to $30 a month, depending on interest rates. So I like to point that out to people because people get caught up in the big picture numbers, and I like to chunk everything down to make sure that we understand it on a monthly basis and make sure that we're really working within the budget that you have set forth. And I look at real estate kind of like a big math problem. If the seller wants this and you want this, how can we work together to make it happen? And it's just really, if you understand the numbers, which you don't have to, because I do, me and my team do, we can kind of mess around with some numbers and still make things work. So again, everything is a win-win. How's the market? This is always a great question. We will go a little bit over the market, but right now there's a lot of opportunity because the market's still moving forward in Vegas. We went from really high highs back in 2006, 2007, to really low lows when we got to 2009, 2010, and now we're on the upswing again. So we'll go a little bit over that. So every month we run statistics to know what's going on with the real estate market. And what I like to point out to you is months of inventory. And on this slide we have the current month's worth of inventory. And what this is a big formula that I put together that I run every month to make sure that I understand who's really in charge of the market when it comes to bigger factors. So if there's a lot of supply or a lot of homes for sale, then buyers are usually in charge of the market. If buyers are in charge of the market, this month's worth of inventory will be over 6. If there's not enough inventory, if there's not enough homes for sale for the buyers that are out looking, then that means the sellers are kind of in charge of the market, and they usually have more negotiation than the buyers do. If this number, if the month's worth of inventory is below a 5 or below a 4, usually the sellers have more or less negotiation over the buyers when it comes to negotiating offers. I also have the average price of homes that are selling in the Las Vegas Valley. And then also I have if the market is increasing or decreasing as far as appreciation. So right now, because Vegas is on the upswing, we are seeing an increase every single year in appreciation. And another thing to be mindful of is how fast homes are selling. So most homes that are put on the market in Las Vegas, they're selling in less than 60 days right now. And if they're priced right, they're selling in usually less than a week, definitely less than 2 weeks. So what does this all mean to you? Bottom line, interest rates are low, values are still great, it's better to buy right now than to rent, and it's not a secret that right now is a great time to buy. And we might be facing multiple offers. You know, we might have different buyers putting in offers on the same home. And again, because we kind of look at what's a win-win for the seller and the buyer and make sure everybody reaches their goals, me and my team have had really great success, and it doesn't intimidate us to go up against other buyers. But really what you need to know is that when we start looking at the numbers and we start structuring this offer, you might not have a second chance to make an offer. You know, it might be a situation where, hey, you only have one shot at this, so you want to make sure that you do what feels best to you and you make the strongest offer as possible. And you know what? If we miss out on a property, my firm belief is that that's not the right home for you. In every situation that I've helped buyers find homes, they always find the perfect home. And sometimes it doesn't work out quite like we think it's going to. But in the end, they always get the perfect home for them. Every single client I've worked with, they love the home they're in. And, you know, it all kind of makes sense at the end of the day if one house didn't work out over another house. So again, it might take a little bit longer for you to find the right home, but rest assured that that is definitely one of our goals. And we make sure that you are happy with the end result of the place that you're going to call home for the years to come. So another thing with the market is there's different types of sellers, and different types of sellers, we structure offers a little bit differently. So there's a lot more equity in traditional sellers right now, and or flippers, so people that go in and they buy the home low, they make it look really nice, and then they sell it. There's not as many bank-owned homes or short sales right now, but again, they're still in the market. So just for you to know, there's a little bit different technique to negotiating each one of these sellers. So buying a home is kind of like taking an airplane flight. You know, when you're on an airplane and you're going from point A to point B, you know, it's going to be expected that you're going to hit a little bit of turbulence, but you trust the pilot and you know you're going to actually get to that point B. So again, buying a home's kind of like that. There's always going to be a little bit of something, but that's why we like to go over this up front with people, because, you know, if you know maybe what that turbulence is going to look like, it's not going to be as scary. You know, when we start having maybe a little hiccup throughout the process of you buying your house. So I'm going to go over a little bit of that process, the home buying process, and we'll address some of the turbulence issues that might arise. So what should you expect during the home buying process? Well, this is where we get into really the nuts and bolts of this video. So the initial consultation, I've set up this video so you have a better idea of what's going on in the market and know what's going on with the home buying process. When we talk in person, we'll go over more of your wants and your needs, and we'll kind of share some expectations, and I'll learn more about you so I can set you up on a buyer profile system, or make sure I have it set up in my system that the right homes are getting emailed to you. So financing I touched on a little bit with my introduction with Michael, but pretty much we want to make sure this is set up before we even go look at a home, because I've had a couple instances where buyers are like, yes, I'm qualified, I'm making money, this is what I can afford, I'm sure of it, yada, yada, yada. Guess what? We go and we start looking at homes at maybe $300,000. Well, it turns out we didn't talk to a loan person first, and they're only qualified for $200,000. In my experience, that only brings heartache, because you've now seen something that you can't necessarily have because a bank's not willing to give you the money needed to get what you want. So that's why I always tell people, let's get your numbers lined up first. Let's make sure you feel comfortable with those numbers, and then we start looking for homes, because we don't want any heartache. We don't want any disappointment. Again, part of our goal is to exceed your expectations. So this is the process that we've learned that works the best for home buyers. So definitely making sure your finances are getting set up correctly and you understand those numbers is key. So finding your dream home, there's all kinds of ways that we can find homes. So pretty much the main thing people think of when they're looking for homes is through our MLS system, so our multiple listing service. So this is the database more or less that all of us realtors share, that then you'll see homes for sale on realtor.com, Trulia, Zillow, Redfin, so on and so forth. Something you need to know is that all of those sites pull from our MLS system. Our MLS system is kind of it's the main system everybody uses, and so that then syndicates to the other sites. So whatever we set up as far as getting email to you every day through my MLS system, that's going to be the most up to date. I've had a lot of clients, they find something on Realtor.com or Trulia or Zillow, and they reach out and they text me and they say, hey, why didn't this come up in our search? And come to find out, some of these sites show homes that are available or for sale, and they're not. They're actually under contract. So at any point that you do find a home that you're interested in, you can always shoot us a text or shoot us an email. Let us know, hey, you found this house. Why isn't it showing up on our MLS search? We'll go ahead and we'll happily research that for you. But I like to educate clients on that because a lot of people don't understand that our MLS is kind of the Mac Daddy of them all, and then everyone else pulls from them. So the other way that we could find a home is there's some for sale by owners out there that are trying to sell the houses themselves. Mainly these are unrepresented sellers, and you know, it's only happened a handful of times that I've had buyers find homes like this that they're really interested in purchasing. If you are, don't be an unrepresented buyer. You know, definitely let us know, keep us in the loop of what you found so we can talk to that seller directly, because it's almost like going into court. Like, you would never go into court and represent yourself. You probably want an attorney to always represent you. So same type of concept here. Same thing with new home builders. You know, new home builders, there's signs all over Las Vegas for you to walk into these nice new model homes, and you know, these nice sales representatives. They're there to help, and guess what? You know who they work for? They work for the seller. So again, we want to make sure that you're getting represented correctly. So if there's anything that pops up that you see a for sale by owner, or you see a new home community that you're interested in, let us know, and we'd happily be, you know, willing to speak to the for sale by owner or the new home tract and see if we can negotiate something to make sure it's favorable terms for you and you're not exposing information up front that might give that seller an idea that you know, an unfair negotiation advantage. Other ways to find homes, there's the bank homes, the equity and flipped, and the short sales. Most of them are also going to be in the MLS. So pretty much what I like to advise clients with all the cool apps that are out there right now, I usually suggest Realtor.com as the mobile app. And through Realtor.com, you can set it up that we're your preferred agent, and you can save properties through there and send properties to us via that way. And if you're driving around and you're looking and you see a for sale sign, then maybe it's not coming up on your app and it didn't come up on the MLS, you know, shoot us a text message and we could definitely do some research for you. Sometimes those homes just haven't hit the market yet, but we can call the agent and maybe get a showing prior to it hitting the market. So again, always shoot us a text, shoot us an email. We're here to help, and we're available at all times for you. So let's say we find your perfect home. Now what? Now we're going to formulate an offer for you and the estimated costs that go into that. So first, we like to run the comparable home sales. So what's kind of sold in the neighborhood? And, you know, is that seller justified in asking that price? And at that point, we kind of give you that information. You have an opportunity to review it, and then you get to kind of pick the number that you feel comfortable with. We also start plugging in some numbers into a complicated spreadsheet that I designed to kind of get an idea of your monthly mortgage costs and then your out-of-pocket costs when it comes to down payment and other types of closing costs. And then next, we'll go ahead and write the offer. And only when you feel comfortable with all those numbers and all that stuff, that's when we write the offer. And then we present it to usually the listing agent, and then they present it to the seller, and we start negotiations. So what happens when you get an offer accepted? Well, now we open escrow. And that term is coined because escrow title companies, they're the third party that hold the documents and kind of make sure everybody's abiding by what they put in writing, and then they hold any monies that are associated with the sale of the property. So for instance, any good faith deposits, any earnest money, escrow will hold that. It's not like you write a check to the seller and they get to hold it. Escrow holds it, and it is only released when all parties are in agreement to what happens with that money. And usually that money goes towards your down payment. Escrow and title, they also research the title of the property and make sure that your deed is free and clear of any liens. After your sale, some people get confused with this, what the escrow account is. And you know, after you get your keys, your escrow account usually holds you know, money that you collect every month through paying your mortgage. that ends up getting applied towards your taxes or your homeowner's insurance. So again, if you have questions about that or if that's confusing, just let us know. We'll be happy to explain a little bit more to you. Earnest money deposit. So earnest money deposit is your good faith deposit, and that's what you present to the seller when we write the offer. And pretty much that says that you are honestly looking to purchase their property, and here's the money that you're going to put forward to say, yes, I'm for real. I'm a for real buyer. This will end up getting deposited again into the escrow company, and then earnest money is only released after all parties are in agreement. So if, for instance, you're moving forward with the purchase of the property, great, that's in writing. Your earnest money will be applied towards your down payment. If, for instance, you do have to cancel for something, like maybe we do a home inspection and it's, you know, there's something that's really gnarly and you don't feel comfortable buying the house, well, we have to write up an addendum and submit it to escrow, and then the seller has to sign off, and then the funds, the earnest money funds, are released. So again, the earnest money, it's going to vary depending on the property. You get to pick whatever that number looks like. Usually in the MLS, the seller's kind of picked some type of number that they're looking for, but it's always negotiable. Usually the higher earnest money you put down, the more serious it looks like. But you can always put, you know, a certain amount down and then put more in later after contingencies have been removed. So there's a lot of different options when it comes to that. Let's discuss appraisals, because this is always a fun thing. So let's say we've, you know, you found the perfect home, we've written the offer, it's awesome. You've done your home inspection, or you've done whatever due diligence that you need to, which due diligence just means you've done whatever research you want to on the home to make sure you really want to buy it. And let's say that we now are in a place where the appraisal needs to be ordered. Well, the big thing to understand is that the appraisal is ordered by the loan person. It is kind of the bank's idea of a home inspection. But instead of just looking at the condition of the property, they're also looking at the value of the property. So when it comes to the appraisal, we usually never talk to the appraiser. Sometimes we can go and meet them at the property and give them kind of our paperwork of, you know, the recent home sold and why we think this value is this way. But overall, it's usually, we don't have a lot of conversation with them and we don't know who they are. So it's going to be an independent valuation of the property. That's the biggest thing that you need to know. So let's say you write an offer at $200,000 and the appraisal comes in at $195,000. There's a $5,000 gap there. Your bank is only going to give you money for the $195,000. So at that point, what would we do? Well, we would have to renegotiate. You know, the three options in our residential purchase agreement contract state that you could either pay the difference of the $5,000, which is not usually our first suggestion, or we can ask the seller to reduce the costs to the $195,000. So, you know, rather than the $200,000 sales price, we ask the seller to do $195,000. That's ideal. You know, if the seller doesn't want to do that and you don't want to pay the difference, well, then we can negotiate in the middle and see maybe if we split the fees, maybe you come up with, you know, half of it and then the seller comes up with the other half. If we can't figure out a way to work through this, then unfortunately we would cancel the contract. And at that point you would get your earnest money back based off of the way that we've written the contract. So mainly what you need to know is that, you know, the appraisal is going to be requested by your lender. There's always, again, turbulence that may come up, and that's why I like to address it as far as, you know, upfront that, hey, this could happen. You know, especially when values are increasing the way they are, it could be a possibility. So your three options, if the appraisal ever did come in low, is you pay the difference, the seller pays the difference, you guys split the difference, and or we would end up canceling the contract and you'd get your earnest money back. So next, due diligence period. I like to go over this because this is, again, that timeline that makes sure that you still want to buy the house. Due diligence is going to be when you're going to look online and make sure you're checking out the school districts, you're checking out, you know, any crime stats, any neighborhood information, making sure your HOA stuff is okay, making sure that you do the home inspection and the property itself, the condition of it is something that you feel good about. So usually we have it in our contracts that most due diligence periods are about 10 days. That gives us enough time to do everything that we need to. But again, if something comes up within that 10 days, we're within the contract to cancel. The earnest money is usually refundable based off of what was negotiated in your contract. But during this time, you can do your home inspection, you can do a pest inspection if needed, and or roof inspection or any other type of inspection you'd like to do. So that's a good thing to know. So obtaining your keys. This is the celebration day. This is what you've been working for the whole time. All you wanted is the keys to the house. So when do you get your keys? When do you get this celebration day? Well, there's a lot of stuff that goes on the back end of the escrow process and the real estate process when you're buying a home. There's like 80 some odd people that are involved in this process that you'll never meet. So the biggest thing to know is do not book a moving truck until we tell you. Only book a moving truck when we tell you it's okay. If any one of those 80 people decide to call in to work one day, it could delay the process. So let's just go over kind of the last part of, probably a week before you get your keys, what's going to happen. You're going to get to sign off on all of your final loan documentation and the deed documentation. At that time, you're going to pay your final closing costs and any amount of the down payment that would be due at that time. So the loan person will be going over all of that final information with you prior to you getting to the escrow company and signing off on all the paperwork. And we like to make sure that whatever the loan person told you up front is similar to what the loan person has towards the very end of this process, because anything me and my team and the loan person does really is all estimations until it gets to this point. So what ends up happening is your loan documents get to title, we make an appointment, you go in, you sign all your paperwork. You don't get the keys the next day usually. Usually it takes about maybe 1 or 2 days after that, then you'll end up getting the keys. So again, there's a lot of different stuff that goes on. Just so you know, hey, when you sign your documents, you're not getting the keys that day. And also, once the loan documents get to escrow, we usually start setting up the transfer of the utilities too, which we have a series of fun emails that go out to you as reminders for that. So protecting your investment. So some people get confused between a home inspection and a home protection plan, so I like to explain to people what that is. During your purchase is your home inspection. So that's going to be during that due diligence period that we discussed. And that's going to go over the mechanical structure of the property, any structural stuff that's going on with the home, plumbing, electrical, so on and so forth. Now, after you purchase, you have the option of having a home protection plan. Now, this is a home warranty up to 1 year after you purchase the home. And usually this covers, depending on the different types of home warranty that you would choose, it's going to cover the heating and the cooling systems in the property, appliances, plumbing, roof, things of that nature. So just a quick snapshot for you of what the differences of those two are. And we've already discussed the multiple listing service. I'll be jumping in the MLS and setting up some information for you to be sending that out so you can start getting homes that fit your criteria straight in your inbox every single day. And here at Las Vegas Home Dream Team, we have made a client bill of rights. So here is a copy of that, but mainly we're here for you. We're going to represent you with the utmost integrity, and we have a policy that we return telephone calls and emails within 24 hours. And if you need anything, we're here. And usually a text message is the easiest way to get a hold of us. But again, we have this set up for our clients so they understand that we're here to help, and we have, again, a higher level of service and integrity than most agents out there. So lastly is, which type of service would you like? We've gone over a lot of information today, and one of the things that we like to do at Las Vegas Home Dream Team is to make sure that we're equally committed to each other. And just like a seller would hire an agent to represent them with selling a house, we ask that our buyers hire us to represent their best interest. And that's usually obtained through signing off on a buyer brokerage agreement. And pretty much that just states that, hey, guess what? We're going to work together. At any point that you're not satisfied with us, you can fire us. But we do have something in writing that you're going to be working with us because, probably like you value loyalty, we value loyalty as well. So we'll send that over so you can review. And then again, if you have any questions, just let us know. We have a lot of this set up just so, again, we have expectations of services that are provided, and it's equal expectations of, we're going to be working for you and you're going to be working with us. So I know we've gone over a lot of information. If at any point you have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to any one of us here at Las Vegas Home Dream Team. We're here to help, and we're here to make sure you feel comfortable through this process. And we want you to be thrilled with this process and thrilled with the home that you find for the years to come, because that's the most important thing to us. So thank you so much for watching this, and again, let us know if you have any questions.